Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you guys are watching this. Okay, so America really is at a turning point. Let me tell you some stuff that nobody is talking about. Nobody has even mentioned this at all, and it really bothers me. Plus, I was sent a video of what looks to be a drone in the sky just seconds from the timestamp after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning, guys. Thank you for setting your alarm clocks. I know it's bright and early. Most of you already know my husband has a brain aneurysm and we are scheduled for surgery. Well, the insurance company sent me some paperwork. I did my paperwork. I have receipts that I did my paperwork. They are now threatening to drop him from our insurance September 30th. Surgery has been moved back to October 14th. I feel like this is an attack straight from hell. So I've got to get to the insurance company this morning and fight the good fight, right? So good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. As you pop on, tell me who you are. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Drop over in comments. How many of you will forever remember where you were on September 10th, 2025, right? All of us will remember where we were September 10th, 2025, just like you remembered exactly what you were doing 9/11, right? Did you know that on September 10th, there was a vote on the Senate floor regarding the Epstein files being released? Thank you, Megan. Did you know that our government was having a major vote on the floor of the Senate September 10th, 2025 to release the full unredacted Epstein files? It was happening at the same time, and it almost happened. It was voted down 51-49. Two Republican senators went on the Democrat side and said, we've had enough. Release these files. Okay. Now, everybody remembers this is what Pam Bondi spewed for months. I'm going to release it. It's on my desk. Everything, every bit of it's going to be released. And several times, Charlie Kirk discussed the Epstein files. Okay. Excuse me. So here's the thing about Charlie Kirk, a lot of people don't realize. For us Christian conservatives, he was pretty much the last one that we could watch. I don't watch Candace Owens because she's a neoconservative. She was a liberal, then she was a conservative, she was a Protestant, then she's Catholic. She hates Israel, but she married a Jewish man. So it's weird. Like, I can't watch her, right? Thank you so much, Miss Linda. And a lot of Christian conservatives feel that way. We can't watch Candace Owens. We won't. Not that we can't. It's we won't. We won't watch Tucker Carlson anymore because he's always been a libertarian. And once he left Fox News, he really got out there with some of his ideas and the way he looked at things. So Candace is out for conservatives. Tucker Carlson is out. I'm not watching Nick Fuentes. I see him occasionally, but I can't watch him. He's not in my age bracket. His mouth is a potty mouth. I don't want to watch him. You know, that left Charlie Kirk, who I actually watched and was subscribed to before he was assassinated. So for a lot of people like me who were actually in the Turning Point USA boat prior to the assassination, not after, before, to hear people say Charlie was changing his mind, Charlie was doing this, is extremely frustrating. I will tell you this. What Charlie felt about the Epstein list may have been his undoing. And I'm going to discuss that with you today. That is the point of this video. Nobody is talking about how Charlie Kirk and the Epstein files might have been what happened. Yesterday, I did a video for you guys where I pretty much told y'all Charlie Kirk was going to be America's next vice president. J.D. Vance was already taking Charlie Kirk everywhere. Charlie Kirk had gone to Greenland with the Trumps to discuss the purchase of Greenland in January. He was already going back to Israel again, January 2026. He had been to so many countries, and he already knew how politics worked. So I think Charlie Kirk was fixing to be the next VP of America for the Republican Party. But he had some very strong feelings about the Epstein files. Here's an article that was written 7/14 of 2025. It says, Charlie Kirk, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. That is a direct quote. He had friends in Trump's administration. Of course he did. He helped get Trump elected. Now, here's where it gets sticky. He wanted the full Epstein files released. He wanted all of them released to the public, unredacted. He felt like, throw it out there, let us see it, may the chips fall wherever they fall. It says, here, President Donald Trump defended Attorney General Pam Bondi over the weekend amid criticism from some in his base over a memo about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. He wrote on Truth Social, Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job in her role. Now, privately, Trump has also doubled down on his support for Bondi. The president called some of the attorney general's most vocal critics over the weekend in an effort to stem the bleeding over the Epstein files. Trump's calls included one with conservative activist Charlie Kirk on Saturday to express his support for Bondi. The call came as prominent MAGA supporters repeatedly criticized the attorney general at Kirk's Turning Point USA Student Action Summit, a Florida event aimed at mobilizing young conservatives. Now, a lot of you probably don't even know what that is.
Said this last weekend at our event about Epstein. Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. We have escalatory action potentially being taken in Ukraine and Russia. We have tons of announcements happening when it comes to NATO. But let me just say this again. Everyone knows my opinion about the Epstein thing, the messaging fumble. I would love to see the DOJ move to unseal the grand jury testimony. I think that would be a big win. I would love to see that. And I'm going to trust my friends, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, my friend Pam Bondi, all these guys. Todd Blanche, I'm going to trust them to solve it. Ball's in their court. I think that there was plenty of, let's say, speeches that were directed towards this topic this last weekend. So we don't need to spend our valuable time on this program relitigating it.
All right. He said that. He said, I'm going to back away from it. Okay. That was July. That was July 2025. You move forward. Schumer puts in basically to the Senate floor a vote. Let's release the Epstein files in complete and total. No redactions, grand jury, everything. We want everything given to the American public. That was September 10th, 2025. Did you guys see the Project Veritas leaked video? Probably not. Let me tell you why. Because everything's been overshadowed by what was done to Charlie Kirk. There is a Project Veritas. I'm going to let you hear it.
They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
they visited that Maxwell person
Yeah,
and also involved.
she got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep it on shut.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work
I
here?
work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies, the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies. I think we were prisons.
I'm going to link everything in the description of video. Okay, so there's somebody that works at the DOJ sitting down. His name is Joseph Schnitt. He is the acting deputy director of the Office of Enforcement of Operations of the Department of Justice. That video came out, I think, September 5th. Am I right? Who knows? It was somewhere either September 5th or September 8th. Now, here's the thing. He is saying in this video that it actually is breaking the law to take Gizmo Maxine or whatever her name is and put her in a minimum security prison. That it is the intent of Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to redact all of the Republicans' names in the Epstein files and only leave the Democrat names. Now, is it true? I don't know, and I'm not saying whether that is or is not. What I am saying is that he said it, and he works in the DOJ. Here is where I'm starting to get very, very concerned, okay? I'm just asking this a hypothetical question. What if Charlie Kirk found out, he saw that video, he knew that Chuck Schumer was going to put forth a Senate vote? What if he was very unhappy with how Republicans are handling the Epstein files? What if Charlie Kirk was given something damning about the Epstein files? Because if anybody was going to get that information, it would be someone like him. Now, a lot of people are under the misconception that Charlie Kirk had a huge platform. He had a little over 3 million people, like 3.7, before he was assassinated. If you go look now on all of his YouTubes, some of them have, like YouTube, Twitter, X, all of that. Some of them, his channels have grown up to 11 million because people are just, subscribing posthumously. But before death, he had a smaller platform on YouTube than both Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, because his ideologies were totally opposite. If you watch Candace Owens, I guarantee you rarely, if ever, watched Charlie Kirk, because they had two total different opinions on almost every political issue. And that is the truth of things. And I know that that's offensive to people, but you need to know that that's the truth of things. I'm starting to think that Charlie Kirk had a problem with how they were handling the Epstein files. Because let me tell you why I'm getting concerned. These are the two narratives being given to us. The mainstream media and social media are only offering you and I two solutions. You've got neoconservatives and liberals. You've got Tucker Carlson. You've got Nick Fuentes. You've got Andrew Tate. You've got Candace Owens and all the liberals saying who it was. Who was it? Who do they say killed Charlie? Israel. Israel had to have done it. Ian Carroll, all those people, Israel, right? So neoconservatives and liberals are telling you it was Israel. Who is the right saying that it was? Everybody on the right, conservatives, who are they blaming for his death? We're not talking about whether or not he questioned James. That's not turning. That's totally different. I love Israel, and I questioned how October 7th happened. So that doesn't even make sense. I'm asking a real question. Who is the right telling you assassinated Charlie? They're telling you it was trans Tifa and the liberal ideology. That are the only two options that you've got. The only two options that they're giving us. Do you guys know that I found information just sitting down and listening to other people's viewpoints, people on the left? I looked up some things and I was so shocked. It says here, the evidence the tabloid media has of the claim that Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter's alleged roommate is allegedly transgender is a 2-year-old TikTok video where the roommate used a filter to look like a female anime character. So this is what the media is giving us. This is what right-wing media is giving you and I right here. They're saying, look, he must be trans. Okay. Then the media is now telling us, let me find them. Have you heard about the text messages that they supposedly were sharing with each other? The roommate and Robinson? They're weird. This is not how young people talk. I have 4 young adults. None of my kids text like this. Robinson, why did I do it? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully, they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. He used correct punctuation. He spelled everything correct. Nobody finds that odd? Look at that. Look at the writing closely. This looks like AI. Y'all want me to believe that these two young men in 2025 used the words negotiated, retrieve, spelled it right, punctuated it correctly. Exactly, Troy. There's no timestamp on this. Guys, this is AI. Okay, I have 4 young adults. They don't write, they don't text like this. They do not text, none of them. Even the one in the Middle East in a war zone right now does not text his mom. They don't put periods on the end of anything. Let me show you. My daughter's going to be so mad at me. They don't put periods on the end of anything. They don't use punctuation in texting. It's not writing, okay? The young people don't, all right? They do not. So it goes on to say this is supposedly his roommate. How long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm finishing. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to the vehicle. I'm worried that my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number. Then he goes on to say, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me RN right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. Again, you are all I worry about, love. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. And then he talks about the scope. I think it had a $2,000 scope. I don't know, you guys. What do y'all think? Do y'all really think that this young man wrote these text messages? Or do you think it's just more of their quote unquote evidence that they're putting out to pin it on him? Because let me ask y'all this. Charlie Kirk had a lot of questions about Donald Trump's attempted assassination. He was very upset about how they didn't check the rooftops. He talked about that. Why didn't they check the rooftops? None of that. They didn't do any of that. How is it that there is, now I'm not sure, somebody told me that it's not, but it looks to me like the same Secret Service dude that worked with Trump during his attempted assassination was now on Charlie Kirk's team. Why didn't anybody check the roofs? Why is the exact same playbook being presented to you and I? Kelly said, why did he use his grandpa's gun vial? Because in his text message, he said it couldn't be traced back to him. But it's got a serial number, so it's going to be traced back to who? Your grandpa, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Somebody said the video of the suspect getting down from the building doesn't show a rifle in his possession. I do think it's more than just one person. Thank you, Stacy. Okay, Stacy brought up there was no ambulance. So last night, by the way, YouTube does not pay me. If you'd like to row in our boat, look at the top of comments at the end of this. I'm trying to put up a few $1,000s for my husband's surgery because he won't be able to work. We also published a book. Don't forget to get your copy, Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. You can type it into your phone. It'll pull it up. I looked up Utah's regulations for events, whether or not they had to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, why wasn't there an ambulance? That really bothers me. So Leslie, the lady that writes the newsletter, like if you donate to our channel, you give me your email, I'll get you the monthly newsletter and I Zoom with you guys. She asked me that. She said, Sam, why was there no ambulance? I'm like, because they wanted to make sure after the assassination that he could not be saved, right? That he could not be saved. Not just that it was an attempted assassination. They needed him not to survive. So they didn't have an ambulance that could have taken him to the nearest trauma center. If you know anything about American hospitals right now, they're rated 1 through 5. If you've been seriously injured in a car accident, a burn, anything, you want to go to a trauma center that can help you, not a rural hospital or a little city hospital that doesn't even have an MRI machine. So they had no ambulance there. But by Utah's own admission, there not only should have been a first aid station, there should have been at least 2 state licensed or certified medical providers, such as an emergency medical technician, a paramedic, a nurse, a physician's assistant, or medical doctor shall be present to staff each first aid station. Now, it also says that the venue has to be easily accessible by emergency vehicles, and that at least, that's like right in the way of what I'm trying to read. It says, first aid stations shall be easily accessible by emergency vehicles. The operator shall provide the local EMS director a map of the gathering site, which includes locations of first aid stations, emergency vehicle ingress and egress routes, landing zones, and rendezvous locations. Also goes on to say the director of local EMS director may require the operator to provide dedicated standby ambulances and personnel at the gathering. The operator will be financially responsible for the cost of funding dedicated standby ambulances and personnel, but not for the cost of providing transportation services to individual patients. So, Utah had rules. Utah, no, James, please, good Lord. Some of you just can't quit. You're gonna blame it on Israel no matter what I say. If you're of that mindset, go watch somebody doing that. That would be Candace. I actually care the truth comes out. So we have the left and the neoconservatives blaming Israel. We have the right blaming trans and liberal comments, right? The liberal ideology. Told you guys the other day. During 9/11, Republicans had control. As soon as 9/11 happened, we had the Patriot Act signed and put into legislation. We lost more freedoms in that moment under a Republican president than we have under a Democrat president in probably 4 decades. This was my concern immediately following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The very first thing that our elected officials are going to do, they're going to go after our freedom of speech. They're going to use everything the left is saying that they think is hateful, mean, blah, 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 and they're going to go after our freedom of speech. And it's going to come back and bite us in our butt. And I was right. Immediately, Pam Bondi got in front of a TV, basically, and said that's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to remove people's freedom of speech. And then she had to walk it back. She had to walk it back because what she said is unconstitutional. It says right here, Pam Bondi's hate speech comments lead even some conservatives to cry foul. Within hours of Charlie Kirk's assassination last week, President Donald Trump signaled a rather curious crackdown. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund and support it. If you know what he's talking about, that doesn't sound like a weird comment. Anybody that has been looking into this stuff knows that George Soros, right, bought up all those radio stations, all those news outlets, and all he does is propaganda. A lot of us understand that these nonprofits and NGOs are being funded with outside money to come into America and manipulate what people believe. We also understand that the Smith-Mundt Act being appealed by President Obama has created the MK Ultra mind control nonsense of modern mainstream media. So it goes on to say, let me find it. All right, hold on. But Pam Bondi on Monday made it so some of them could no longer shrug. They quickly cried foul over her comments on a podcast that the Justice Department would go after hate speech. Now, pro-Trump pundits flatly rejected it. Charlie Kirk literally died defending the principle that Pam Bondi is trashing right-wing influencer Hans Mackney. Just unreal. The pushback has apparently been bad enough that Bondi attempted to clarify her remarks later Tuesday, telling Axios that the Justice Department isn't prosecuted alleged hate speech. They will only prosecute statements that incite violence. Freedom of speech is sacred in our country, and we will never impede on that right. My intention was to speak about threats of violence that individuals incite against others. But that's not what she really said. And you'll have to go back and watch her yourself. It made the hair on my arm stand up because she literally said, whether you're left or right, if it's hate speech, we're coming after you. So who determines what is hate speech? Because YouTube does not pay me because I offended somebody in the trans group because they're a protected class. So what's hate speech? What is hate speech? Amen, Leslie. What other nation in the world has freedom of speech? We are the last bastion of it. I totally agree with that. Thank you, Leslie, for timing them out. I was so sick of reading that. It's just over and over. Exactly, Troy. There's no such thing as hate speech. Charlie Kirk, direct quote. So now, and I told you guys, and people got mad at me. I said, look, I understand. We don't like what the left is saying. Let them say it. Because I don't want anybody to tell me that I can't sit before a computer screen and tell you that if you are someone that is behind the sexual mutilation of children, you have a mental problem. That if you believe in abortion, I myself see that as outright murder. Some people would say, well, that's hate speech. People on the left would 100% say that what I just said is hate speech. So who gets to determine what is appropriate and what is not? That is the problem with people like Pam Bondi that just spew crap out of their mouth. I don't think she's as qualified for that position as we thought she was, guys. There's too much tying Pam Bondi back to Florida when Epstein was, this is way back. This is like a decade ago when Epstein was first looked into for child trafficking, sex trafficking. Pam Bondi was over that. And guess who did not really do any prison time? I'm just saying, some of these are not coincidences. So here's my thing too. And Charlie Kirk was being prepped for vice president. And he was unhappy with what was being done with the Epstein files. The fact that they weren't giving us the information. That they were, by all accounts, from someone that worked at the Department of Justice, going to redact the Republican names and leave the Democrat names and then release it. Somebody like Charlie Kirk would have a real problem with that. It's called integrity. If he pushed back on that, and then September 10th, there's a vote in the Senate, and they almost got it. It was 51-49. You just need a few more Republicans to go over here, and we're going to see the Epstein file. But what a joke. It doesn't matter if it's a hoax. It doesn't matter if the information that's in that file was put there and it's not real. Trump needs to sit down with the American public and give us proof that that is what is true. Not hide it from us. I love Trump. I voted for Trump. But there is obviously a child trafficking issue in this country. Now, there's a video that was sent to me last night showing what obviously looks like a drone flying behind just seconds after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I like you want, I want everything. I want to see everything. I don't want to be told what to think.
I went back a little. No. I haven't changed any of the color or anything in any of this. I boosted the contrast a little bit on the smoke blow up so people could see it against the sky, but none of the others have been changed at all. So that thing, the smoker flies off, and now a fast, rigid body moves upward from the left side of the frame. Look at how fast that's going. It's only on screen for 3 video frames, and it shoots across the frame like that from the left. It's in front
as
of
the smoking one is flying away. So you guys see this, the smoking one flying away towards the top. And all right, so take us back to when you see this next one that's zooming. Show us the first frame where that appears. Where's the first frame with the little
For people to remain oriented while we're doing this, just keep your eye on the time clock in the upper right. I'm going in reverse now. So we're going to 44 seconds here. So this is the thing that eventually starts smoking. 50 seconds it's smoking, and around, and also in the video, I keep playing it again at different speeds. I've slowed it down so that people can see what's going on. First I play it at regular speed, then I play it at 50%, then 25%, then I go as low as 10% or 5%. So this thing's flying off. And this little puck.
Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't the puck. Look at this. Hang on. Let me see if I can. I want to stop on. Let me back it up here. Let's just watch this next thing to come.
And have you been on Alex Jones with this yet? Have you shown this?
I'm banned from Alex Jones.
Yeah, well, so keep one eye open when you sleep, and I think he's stealing your shit. So keep an eye on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
It's difficult to see, but keep your eyes on this thing. We see the wings there. Right. You see that?
Right, stop. I want you to stop there where you first pick it up.
Let me get a different version of this video up so that we can really step through it. Stand by just a second, because that one's just coming from Twitter. I've got it on.
All right, as you do that, let me, so guys, this is what I'm talking about. Jason finds these things flying all over the place, isolates them, is able to track them. And there's nobody else on earth talking about this. Now, today, I think I heard somebody say CIA spy plane. And they're basically using Jason's work and, making up stories. But nobody's talking about this. Nobody found this. And I don't, honestly, I don't think anybody could have found it other than you. Had you not found this, nobody would have found this. So
Possible. Okay.
Oh, I'm positive of it.
So here's a version we can step through frame by frame. Let's play.
Okay. All right, so I want to see this tiny little thing show up.
Okay, let's go back. Cool. So right there is the first frame that it appears. And it's...
All right, so hang on. It's like, what the F? And from where? It's like, it's
coming from the left side of the frame. And it's in front of the building where the bird flew in front of. Remember when the bird got to that dark area of the building and we could see it again? But this doesn't look like a bird because it shoots from, I'm going back now. It shoots from this part. It's moving upward. You see that? I should have done another version where this thing isn't there because it's shooting up. It's going in a diagonal up. And I think a bird would have to be flapping its wings to do that. Birds can soar, but they're affected by gravity.
Come on, we just looked at the egret. I mean, we just saw, a blue heron or something.
Here, there you see how it's going up.
Obviously a UAV, bro. Come on.
You can see the trajectory here. I think
there's no question it's a UAV. Come on, there's no question it's a UAV.
I think it is.
I mean, I can't tell you what brand it is, right? But this is undepth.
Okay. I'll link all of this in description of the video. Folks, listen to me. I told Leslie this last night. Because the left and neoconservatives want me to believe it's Israel so bad. And because the right wants me to believe that it's a trans Tifa. And oh, by the way, on the bullets, there, I even said it because I had looked at the Antifa symbol myself, and I had seen someone talking about that the Antifa symbol was drawn on one of the bullets. That was actually a video game symbol. So they're twisting this information to make us think that the shooter was with someone that was trans. And so this is obviously the trans ideologically involvement, right? Like them being involved. And thank you, Leslie. He was getting out of control too. Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, it really is. He can't stand it. He's going to blame Israel for everything. If Jesus comes back tomorrow, it's Israel's fault. Some people, they can't. The text messages are also ridiculous. So when you're looking at all of that, the fact that I'm being told by people that it has to be leftist lunatics trans, or it has to be Israel, makes me turn around and look directly at my government. My government. And I just think with everything that's going on with the Epstein files, that maybe a whistleblower had come out to Charlie Kirk. Maybe somebody had come to him and shown him something. I just think it's all connected. And I'm as likely to believe that somebody in the shadow government that would consider themselves fighting the good fight on the conservative Republican side would call for this hit just as quickly as I would consider somebody on the lunatic left doing it. Politicians are not like you and I. These people have awful things in their closet. They don't live normal lives. They haven't for a long time. I said that about these content creators. A lot of us sit behind the screen and we watch people who have teams of people out there working for them. They wash their car, they clean their house, they watch their kids, they run their errands, they answer their phone, they answer all their comments on YouTube. These people don't remember what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. These people do not remember what it's like to put one leg at a time into their pants. These people are worth multiple millions of dollars from creating content on YouTube. So their goal is to keep you, the product, watching as long as possible, commenting and sharing, because you are how they make their money. It doesn't necessarily mean if they know something is true that they're going to tell you or share it. It has to be emotional. It has to be sensational. And it has to be nobody else is talking about it. Nobody else is talking about it. Oh my Gaga, how old are you? Just quilling. I'm just curious. I'm just asking. Because my mother and I text incorrect English. We use proper punctuation. We use everything. But I'm 51 and my mother is 82. My 19-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old, and 28-year-old do not. They do not even sometimes put periods at the ends of their sentences. And yeah, phones do autocorrect, but they don't correct like that. That's what I'm saying. 22-year-olds. I just showed y'all a picture of what my daughter sent me last night. She had 4 sentences in the same text. There was never a period, but she would start the next sentence with a capital letter. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, right, Leslie? A lot of people don't, y'all. They don't. And he's just not. I'm just saying, I don't know of any young adults that would text like that. They also don't text entire paragraphs. My kids respond with like 5 words or 2 sentences at most. I don't get an entire book written. They would rather call me and tell me than spend the time typing that out. Exactly, Rachel. I agree with that. I really don't think somebody would bother with autocorrect after killing someone, after committing, what they did. I just wanted to share this information with y'all. I told Leslie last night, I feel like the propaganda machine has broken America into two sides. You either have to be the team Israel is the assassinator, or you have to be team liberal trans Tifa is the assassinator. And I think that the true person that called for the hit and the assassination of Charlie Kirk is right here in the middle somewhere. And I think it would probably shock a lot of us. Just like if we knew who actually killed Kennedy would shock us. Who actually assassinated President Lincoln would shock us. There were people behind those assassinations. You've always got the person who's willing to pull the trigger. But I just have a lot of questions because I think they should have had an ambulance. They should have had better security. Why, after what happened to President Trump, did they stick Charlie Kirk in a bowl? In a bowl. Have you seen the videos of people standing above him while he was talking? It was a horseshoe bowl, 2-story bowl with stacked buildings all around it. He was a duck sitting in a pond. It was like the worst place security-wise to have put that man. But we said that about Butler too, didn't we? And we still don't have any more information about that. None at all. Except that that young man was in a BlackRock video. Oh, I didn't see him. Michael Savage's podcast. A lot of people are angry with Candace Owens because she's blowing her relationship up with Charlie Kirk to a position that it isn't. Were they good friends for a long time? Yeah. When she started working at Turning Point in 2017 into 2019, they were together constantly. But Turning Point was Turning Point 5 years before Candace Owens came. Turning Point continued without Candace Owens for 6 years. And she's claiming, like, if you go back and watch her video, there's no current. There's no, like, just yesterday I saw Charlie video, pictures or anything, because she was fired. She was fired. He had to fire her. And then she goes and marries a Jew. And a lot of people have problems with that. Oh, Linda said that the place where he was speaking looked like a 5-pointed upside down pentagram and a baseball diamond. Yeah, Stacy, I agree. They were not close for the past few years, but she's going to market that and people are going to watch it. If you're a Candace Owens follower, you're going to eat that up. Poor Candy, right? Poor Candy. But the truth is, she's not been in that circle for a long time. She's literally threatening to destroy Turning Point. She's threatening it. To destroy what Charlie Kirk built. If somebody gets put in his position that she doesn't approve of. But here's the problem. She is like a raving dog, like lunatic when it comes to Israel. So anybody that supports Israel, she's going to flip out. She's going to flip out. This is what they want. They want to take Turning Point and turn it into an anti-Israel organization. They had to remove Charlie. He supported Israel. He was going back to Israel in January. He was going to be VP for 2028. He was with J.D. Vance and the Trumps all the time. They were taking him to political gatherings, introducing him to high-ranking people, and they were basically teaching him how to be a politician. He had a problem with how they were handling Epstein's files. They had to remove Charlie Kirk. Now watch what happens to Turning Point. It's going to be one of two things. It's either going to stay on track because Erica forces them to do it, or they're going to put somebody that cannot stand Israel into position, and everything that Charlie Kirk worked to do is going to be destroyed posthumously. She most definitely can. She's trying to destroy Turning Point right now with releasing like fake text messages and dirt. She's got dirt. Doesn't she always have dirt on everybody? But again, she married a Jew, so, you know. I don't know. Candace married a man that became part of the SSPX after they got married. Okay. His mother is Jewish. Candace's mother-in-law is Jewish. Go do your research. I've done a video on it. Now, they may have become Catholics, her and her husband, but it's not really, it's part of the Catholic Church that's been excommunicated. So I'm not really sure how you can even call them Catholic. They attend service in a church that's been excommunicated. So I believe that too, Robert. It had to have been somebody close to Charlie Kirk. There's a bigger, uglier thing here going on. It really is. Again, if you'd like to row in our boat and help us continue to make videos where we talk about everything, please look in the top of comments. Don't forget to get your copy of Growing Under a Poison Sky. I have one more book to sign and sell. If you'd like to make a bid on my last autographed book, please reach out to me. And I will love you guys so much. You guys be blessed. I have to go take care of medical stuff now to make sure that my husband has surgery. So, look, I'm serious, Jana Runs. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I think it's somebody in the federal government right now. Right now. I think, I am not joking. Either CIA, DOJ, or FBI is responsible. Absolutely responsible for the assassination. Thank you, Rachel. You guys be blessed. What's the bid now? There's no bid. Just tell me how much you're willing to pay for a signed copy. Just reach out and then you send me your address, send me the money, and I'll send you the book. I'm just trying to be a Proverbs wife. I'm trying to take my skills and make enough money to help my husband be able to recover post-surgery without stressing about everything. I love you too, Leslie. You guys be safe today.